In October 2025, this map was released. It's called Slide Bleh, a parkour map with various mechanics and a fun structure. You awake on a sunny beach and are on your way through the shore. On your way, you find many cats. Though all of these cats that you can find are not mandatory to log the time. Their only use was unlocking this cage right here to free Silly Cat. So no one really visited them. And there was one simple solution. Slide blah blah blah. This is the hard version of the original. This time you have to visit all the cats to get the points. And then to finally log time. To help each other, the cats brought more friends and even made an extra stage. They either removed platforms like here in the beginning where there would be sand. Now there's just this pole left. They blocked paths or made areas more difficult and really wanted to be visited. However, there is one big problem. This map looks the same as the original. The only clue you're given are the more points and the different levels. I had to change that. I wanted this map to look like a more difficult and evil version of the original. So in April 2026, I gave it a full visual rework. You're seeing this right. The sunny beach has turned into a misty swamp. Up above are giant structures. The water is full of moss. Skeletons are all around. Trees have overgrown the place and new rocks have formed. Let me show you what all changed. As you spawn in, it is not sand anymore. It is now dirt all over the ground. The crab is still here, but everything looks much more sinister. You can see the sun, but it's very faint, and vines are hanging above your head. And in the distance, you can just see rock formations between the swamp. The cat pictures are also now smoother. In the start, I used link textures, for example, for these things, or cylinders. These are 4 cylinders, or several things with opacity to create the moss. To make the rocks more interesting, I made some uncollidable rotated ones all around. There's now a proper environment with an actual fog. Now you cannot see the end of the map anymore. The gameplay to the original Slide Blah 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 stayed the same, except for this one pillar in the beginning that would be too annoying. Passing through here is not any different, even though it may look you can hit your head. Over here, there is more water. Initially, there were just 2 waters flowing down. Now, there are way more, as you can see from up above. The palms stayed the same, though some have extra vines, or in this case, they have extra leaves. Also, there is an extra cat picture for every checkpoint now, so there are 11 more than in the original Slide Blah Blah Blah. In this place, it looks like the logs and the moss is flowing out into the wide ocean from this pit here. Here we've got a few water plants, and up above us, there's a tree with many stems and some big leaves. Here you can see the shadows of the bats. Previously it were birds, now it classified them as bats. And here a wonderful skeleton. Up above, as you might have noticed, there is this giant structure with moss hanging off it. And then there is this giant stone going all over the map, twisted. Further in the distance are more mountains, but let's get back to our levels. Everywhere, of course, more cats. And here we have some trees up above us. Go through these trees and all the time you can see this giant skeleton right here. You can never see it fully. You can see its back from here. You can see it a little bit from here. You can see it a little bit from here, and then later on also a little from here and a little bit from here. Never you can see the full thing even if you're here. Once you reach this place, there is wood and spikes going through the stone, pointing out. There's a log swimming around, and there are some lily pads. The burger now has a light. Yes, our all favorite burger. This burger leads to our favorite burger stage, which now also looks better. This is what it looks like now. Whether you see them as hands or just rock formations, they are looming above you. There are two paths. One is in this overgrown B-hop part where there's just stuff above you. And then the other side, once you've decided for stairs or elevator, you are basically on a mountainside while you're rolling down. Here it's steep, and here's the rocks that are also steep into the same direction once you then finally reach this goal. This place is now properly a cave with this one place where you can look out, with some extra lighting I did here to enhance the effect. But you continue through this cave-like structure until you go to the next level. This is what it looks like from the outside. Once you're here, I used some fancy tricks to make these things. These three are one object, for example. And up here I did a very similar thing. These are just a few objects, less than you might think they are. All throughout, the grass on top of the stones is now darker and also goes further down. Everywhere you can see the extra rocks. Once you're here, it is more overgrown than before. Now you have a ceiling of leaves and you go through this mossy place. Now into a proper curve. And over here, this stayed the same. Here you have giant blocks of vegetation above you while you go through this part, and once you have the guild cheese, you reach this place. This is the original B-Hop skill check, but harder. You know, the whole map is harder. You go through this place, you've got some sun shining through, but everything is you're under a leaf roof. And you hope that the B-Hop part doesn't come again. In Slide Bleh, you would just find out that there's a path to here, not forwards. So you go here, but in this version, it only leads to a bonus and nowhere else. In Slide Bleh, it would have continued here. In Slide Bleh, blah, 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 that was originally that way as well. You have this troll here, which then actually turns out to be true, and you have an insanely difficult B-Hop level. Once you're through all of these leaf roofs, you're on the outside here, and this level is really tough. Do not forget all the secret points, like this for example. Also over here is one. Also make sure always to look at the new cats at the score zones. His greed was his downfall. He wanted too many apples. And then you go along the final places, the platforms. You jump from left to right through all of these rocks, and finally you reach the goal. Yes, this is this map. It is very difficult, and it is B-Hop and Slide. Give it a try, look at it. Ping your favorite Bella in your Discord. Thank you very much for watching. Check out Slide Bird Slide. There I talked similarly to what I did today. Goodbye.